Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was doing very well. You know, something I've noticed lately, obviously, it is, we're getting toward the end of October, and obviously Christmas time is just around the corner somehow, but, you know, kids start wanting Christmas presents. And it's not as much this year, but previously our daughter has wanted like a scooter or those e-bike type of things. And I've been on the bandwagon for a long time of like, no. Because I remember as a kid, I've never been like a huge like going on crazy jumps or doing anything that could like really harm me. Obviously, like boys will do stuff on some level, but I always had a sense of like self-preservation. Yeah. And I remember my friend had he had some sort of like scooter when I was a kid, and I rode it one time, wiped out. It was on grass, and I was like, I'm good. I don't need this. Like, I'll just ride my bike. It's fine. Yeah. And so obviously our daughter, you know, not even being 10 years old, we're just like, no. And then I feel very vindicated in that because there's been a slew, especially in our neighborhood, of all these like accidents taking place with kids riding these. And it's just very perplexing to me because I'm just like, that I would not let my kid loose, at least to me, on a scooter. Like an electric scooter at like 8 years old.
Well, it's essentially, I mean, obviously it doesn't go as fast, but it's essentially like kind of like a motorcycle. You're not pedaling. You're like, you have like basically like a motor that's moving you, and it's going at a faster speed than you can take like a bike.
Yeah. Well, and most of the
not
kids
safe.
And most of the kids I see ride them don't have helmets on either.
I know.
And they like, it's also getting to like, they don't know the rules of the road. There's been a few times where I've literally seen kids just about get hit because they'll just dart in front of a car. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So
in our own neighborhood, we've had a handful of accidents when it coming to like e-bikes. Yeah. And I'm just like as a parent, you're just like, you know what? We can do this. We're just not going to. We're just going to say no.
Yeah. We told her like a year and a half ago, like, you're not getting one. Like, it made it worse because her like best friends, like they got these little scooter bikes, which are not the ones that go fast, but we were still just like, you're not riding that. Yeah. Like, I don't trust, you know, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds to do a whole lot of things, let alone ride motorized vehicles. Just like, no, let's just stick to our bikes.
Right.
And then, and the thing is too, like, I've never been big on motorcycles just because, like, I understand like they're fun to ride and everything like that, but I've known a lot of people through my life that have either been really hurt or you know, obviously much worse on a motorcycle that isn't even really their fault. So it's like, it's already inherently more dangerous because cars can't see you. Yeah. And I'm just like, you know, let's just remove that from the equation. Let's just my whole thing is always simplify things. I'm like, that makes things more simple.
And the reason we kind of bring it up is too, because like the weather here has been very nice lately. And usually like during the summer here in Florida, I don't know how it is other places in the country, but here in Florida, we tend to not be outside as much in the summer because it's really, really hot. So we're coming to the point of the year where it's like, okay, it's cooling down a little bit, it's getting more comfortable, and I feel like I'm seeing way more people outside. Oh yeah. So more kids are doing the e-bikes and the scooters and stuff. So like that just kind of was on our mind. But yeah, I just don't see our kids having them until they're much older.
I will advise them to never do that probably. I remember it was like 2 years ago, I was in the garage working out and I had headphones in. I heard this loud thump and I go out the garage and I saw our neighbor run across, and some kid that was down the road, he was like, I don't know, he may have been 7 years old at the time. 7? Yeah. Was on one of these and ran straight into a tree.
Oh my gosh.
Like he didn't really know how to break it or whatever. Just ran smack dab into the tree. And he was... I'm guessing he probably had a concussion because we basically just like, don't move. They went and got his parents. And I was just like, what are we doing here? Like, And I feel bad because like me at 8 years old, I would have got hurt undoubtedly. Like, again, I rode when I was like 12 or 13 and got hurt. And I was just like, you know, I'm just not doing that. But in terms of things for Christmas, that is not on our kids list. But I can tell you what will be. I don't know. Did you hear that Mattel is doing K-pop Demon Hunter like Barbies?
No.
They are starting production on those. I don't know if those are going to be ready before Christmas.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's not that long. That's like, when did they start that? Like a couple months ago?
I'm not sure on the details. This may come as a shock. I don't really keep up that much on Barbie production.
Right.
You know, I'm in the know, of course. I'm always checking to know. But I just happened to see that come across because I think just now Netflix is really starting to ramp up the marketing for that stuff. So if it does come before Christmas, we're gonna have to get some of those for our daughter, I'm sure. But
I mean, that might be the number one toy this winter. I mean, if they make it out in time, like you said,
it would be very big. I
Yeah.
will say that much because that movie is still huge. So
Yeah.
if your kids are into K-pop Demon Hunters, that might be something you should look out for Christmas. But I don't know when those will be producing, making, whatever.
I think it'll be next year. I think that's just too close.
The thing is, by next year though, it could be gone. Not gone, but you know what I mean. It's not going to be as hot as it is right now.
I mean, possibly.
If it's me and it was like, if there was any way, I'd be like, you need these things ready before Christmas. Don't know if that's feasible.
This is like the Frozen effect. It's the same thing with when Frozen came out, the first one. They were not ready.
No, not at all.
They were not ready for all the merch. Like,
Well, they
it
also
took
weren't-
months to get everything out.
They also weren't ready for Baby Yoda.
Or Baby Yoda.
And then they decided that we're going to make up for that by shoving it in your face
Yep.
for multiple years.
Yep.
To the point where I'm now anti-Baby Yoda.
How dare you?
Every time I see him, I'm just like, oh, gosh. Again. But anyways, that's not all we're going to talk about today and Barbie production timelines because I don't know much about that. But we do have some news to go over, including the Epcot International Festival of the Arts dates have been announced. That's kind of a tongue twister for me. As well as some changes to Jollywood Nights that are coming this year. Some changes to a ride as well that's over in Epcot. And then our discussion segment, I think, be a pretty good one because I think this is something that I've heard a lot more talk about this the past year, but especially the past couple of months on this, is basically, is social media like ruining the theme park, Disney experience when you go to the theme parks? I think it could be a good discussion on.
Yeah.
And it's obviously something like we have social media. Like obviously
Right.
we have video versions of things, but I'm very curious as to, because I've seen a few videos talking about this lately, bring up some pretty good points and really what is the solution to it, I suppose. So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But before we do that, just want to remind everybody, if you are watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're not watching us on YouTube and you didn't know we had video versions of the show, you can find us over on YouTube at CTM Podcast. And if you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast form, we'd ask you to please subscribe and leave us a review on whichever platform you do listen on, as it helps us continue to grow the show. But either way, whichever way you listen, we greatly appreciate it and helps us to continue to grow the show and do what we do here. So, all right, well, let's get into the first story, which is Epcot International Festival of the Arts dates have been announced, which is Jamie's favorite festival.
It is tied now with Flower and Garden. Did I
What's
tell you
with
that?
the evil fingers?
That's my evil
You look
fingers. Like I was changing my mind.
You look like
Ooh.
Dr. Evil.
No, I look like Excellent Smithers. That's the fingers.
It's the same vibe, but okay.
Same vibe. Okay, so the festival this year will run January 16th through February 23rd. That is 39 days. It starts basically during Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and it goes up until the weekend of Princess Half Marathon. Like it ends right before that.
Okay.
So it's just kind of sandwiched in there, those two big events. The Walt Disney World Marathon is the week, I believe it's the week before that. So it's kind of like the only time it could come. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't think they ever have the festival during a marathon weekend. So, it just makes sense. But we're going to see returning things like the Food Studios, Disney on Broadway concert series, the Paint by the Numbers mural, Brush with the Masters, Scavenger Hunt, Artful photo ops, and obviously like merchandise and stuff like that. New this year, though, will be some activities that are going to be connected to the Disney Lorcana trading cards, which I don't really know anything about. It's not my thing, but I know there's a lot of people that are really into that. So,
well, let me tell you about these trading cards.
oh, do you know more?
I know nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll both learn together.
Or not. It's fine.
But yeah, so this is my favorite or second to favorite.
Well, what's your favorite now? You keep changing
Okay,
your festival
here's the
order.
Here's the thing. I originally, it was my favorite for a couple years. It's just too busy. It's too busy now. It's busier than Food and Wine. It's busier than all the other festivals. I think it's because it's like not as long and because it's during a really good weather time of the year.
It is during a good weather time of year.
And I really think that's it. Like with Flower and Garden, it's stretched out over like 3 months almost, basically.
So you like Flower and Garden more now?
So I mean, I go between Flower Garden and Festival of the Arts. Like those are the two I go back and forth with.
Okay.
So I don't know, but those are my two. What's yours right now?
I mean, I still in terms of a festival, just taking away the other aspects of it, I think Festival of the Arts is the most. I don't know, enjoy it the most. You got the weather. I enjoy the art aspect of it.
You like art? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think it's a very unique one.
Yeah.
The other ones are all kind of the same in many ways.
No.
Just saying.
Okay.
I mean, they're all kind of same in some ways with like the food booths and things like that. So,
but anyway, those are the dates, and we'll have more information come out soon.
Yes. In the next news story we have is, given that it is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America next year, Disney announced that they are celebrating this with some things in the theme parks, including a ride overlay coming to Soarin'.
Yeah, so Soarin' is getting it called Soarin' Across America, and that's going to debut sometime next summer.
I like this. They should have called it Soarin' Around America, but no, I think America's beautiful, like the landscapes and the national parks and all that stuff like that. So I was very glad to see that, as well as they had Patrick Warburton do the promo video for this.
Warburton.
I said what I said.
Okay.
Listen, I'm never going to pronounce everything correctly. People comment all the time. You said this wrong. I'm aware. I'm trying my best, but I can't also admit defeat. So he knows. I love him. He's great. He has the best voice ever.
So what would you want to see in Soarin' Across America? Like, what kind of things should they show?
Well, I think the obvious ones you have are like the Grand Canyon,
national parks.
Yeah, the mountains. It's still like you fly over, farmland. That looks kind of cool, like sunset. I'd like to see a Florida man show up. They did show behind the scenes of them on like a airboat. And I'm like, surely they got a Florida man.
That was very southern. That was like Louisiana.
Driving that airboat.
Yeah.
I want to see a Florida man with a mullet, grabbing a gator or something like that,
I think we'll get maybe some Washington, D.C. stuff too. Mount Rushmore, maybe.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of...
Probably like the Golden Gate Bridge.
The Arch in St. Louis.
Yeah, I don't like St. Louis.
Okay.
But I get the Arch. I get the Arch. They'll probably do the Arch.
Yeah.
I get it.
So I hope we can see stuff
By
like
the way,
that.
going up into the Arch is terrifying.
It is. It doesn't... It kind of sways.
It is tight. I remember being as a kid, it was really tight. And then I went back up there because obviously we were like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the Arch that much, but the elevators that go up there are teeny tiny. And when you get up there, you don't realize it as much on the ground floor, but that thing does sway with the wind. And it's supposed to, because it actually helps it be stable, because it's supposed to, it's all the engineering behind it. Either way, the last time I got up there, you're looking out the window and it's like, I'm not staying up here very long.
It's like, maybe that's where your height thing comes from, the Arch.
I think it's just a natural thing to be weary of heights.
Got it.
I mean, I'm not bad. Like, I just don't like them. I have known people that literally get weak in the legs and fall down at heights.
Yeah.
I had a friend in high school that was that way. I just don't like them.
I understand.
But yeah, the Arch is a little interesting one.
But they're going to have also called Disney Celebrates America kind of celebration throughout 2026 up until 4th of July. That's actually going to start November 11th on Veterans Day.
Okay.
So they said concludes July 4th weekend of 2026 because the 4th is on a Saturday. So they're just going to keep it going until Sunday, the 5th. And the fireworks show at Magic Kingdom is actually going to be July 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Okay.
They only usually do the 3rd and the 4th. So that's a little different next year. But there'll be, there'll be food, there'll be merch, there'll be stuff on TV, Disney Plus, ABC. They'll do a bunch of stuff with that. So look out for that.
Listen, I think it's good. And I think given too, there has been criticism of, Disney removing aspects of Americana from the parks. I mean, especially given Rivers of America, the Liberty Bell, things like that. I think it would have been a bigger deal if they didn't do anything. Like, and they was in a situation where it was like the no-brainer here is to obviously do something for the 250th.
Sure.
But yeah, if they didn't do anything, I think, they would have a lot more criticism come their way. But But no, I think it's a great thing. And like I said, I hope that they have a different maybe they will have a new intro video with Patrick. How do you say his name? I said it wrong.
Isn't it Warburton?
I think it's Warburton either way. The guy with the awesome voice. And by the way, his sons all have his voice.
Yes, they do. It's hilarious.
I'm jealous.
Him and his sons. You should follow him on TikTok if you don't.
And he rocks like an awesome mustache now. I'm just like, man. But yeah, he did a little promo video, and I'm excited for that. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So, all right, next news story we have is Jollywood Nights is seeing some changes this year as this party continues to evolve.
It sure does. So this year, guests can enter the park at 5:30 with an event ticket. So this is 30 minutes earlier than last year. And it's 30 minutes, I guess it's an hour earlier than the first year. Mm-hmm. They just keep getting you more time before the party.
Which was one of the main complaints about it, especially the first year.
Yeah.
Because we went to the very first one ever of this party. Was not a great experience. We went last year, and it was
better.
much improved. Still has room to improve, but it was a better experience than the party the year before.
For sure. Now, the event officially starts at 7:30, goes till 12:30, so it is a 5-hour party. But again, you get the 2 hours beforehand to just enter, even if you don't have a park ticket. The event ticket will work as your admission. New character greetings will be there, like Chewbacca. And he's going to be celebrating Life Day, which I know is a Star Wars thing.
I hate the Life
But
Day
I don't know
stuff.
anything about it, so I apologize.
It comes from the Star Wars holiday special they did.
Right.
It's not good, in my opinion, but...
We have him. We have Partysaurus Rex. So it's just basically Rex from Toy Story, chilling and vibing and dancing. And he's got glam on. It's funny. And then Bing Bong from Inside Out.
Bing Bong.
Everybody loves Bing Bong.
I don't remember Bing Bong. Which one's Bing Bong?
He's the pink looking. It was her imaginary friend.
Oh, that's
the
right.
The pink little dinosaur.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not really dinosaur.
Okay.
Both new shows, The Little Mermaid, A Musical Adventure, and Disney Villains, Unfairly Ever After, will be having showings during the party. So if you haven't seen those yet, that's a good time to do it. There will be a new party menu at Backlot Express. Now, a new foodie guide will be, I think it's supposed to be released in the next week or so, but you'll be able to see all the menus from everything then. But they did mention this Backlot Express, new merchandise collection, and the Holiday Fiesta and Lacal. Is it Lacal? Is that how you say?
If you're asking me to know how to pronounce that, yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I'm sorry. Well, look, that's the place where they have Three Black Caballeros was being there last year, and it's basically the Latin music base area is relocating to Rock and Roller Coaster area because Animation Courtyard is closed for construction. But they'll also have Miguel from Coco join over there, and he'll be doing greetings. Note, opening night on November 8th has sold out.
Did they up the price on it this year?
It's about the same as it was last year. I don't think they really upped it. If they did, it was by a couple dollars.
I mean, that's good because this party is still trying to feel out its roots here.
I don't think I think it would behoove them not to do that.
I would agree. I would agree. Now, are they keeping the ice skating part?
Yep.
See, I actually enjoyed that. I know a lot of people sort of.
I thought it was. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was lame.
I'm not saying it was the most amazing thing ever, but it was something that was unique that you could improve upon.
If they improve on it, that's awesome. I really hope they do. I wasn't a fan last year, but they have that. They have the Nightmare Before Christmas show. They've got the Holidays in Hollywood show that they have a Tip Top Club. Got the Jazzy Holidays at Brown Derby. They'll probably do the, what's it called? The magic shot with the kuka arm thing.
Oh, the thing when you're dancing.
Or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Dance parties. It's a good time. It's a fun time. So, yep. We'll have more information about that and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party coming soon.
Yes.
We might do a bit comparison if you are on the fence about which one you should do. We're going to tell you which one.
I mean, essentially, Jollywood Nights,
tell you.
Yeah, is much more of just an adult themed party. It's not really for kids very much, but yeah.
Yep. But anyway, so that is what's going on new for.
They also
Hollywood.
had last year. That's where they had the Doctor Strange meet and greet. Not even not meet and greet. He was the roaming
Oh.
character.
They did not mention him.
They didn't, but they didn't mention him last year either, did
Right.
they?
No. I mean,
just-
sometimes they surprise.
Yeah.
They do surprise.
That was such a strange one because clearly that is some sort of like loophole they have found with that Universal contract with it. Because he doesn't call it, it's not called Doctor Strange. It's called like Sorcerer Supreme. It's not technically a meet and greet. He just roams around and you can stop and talk with him and get a picture. Mm-hmm. But he was only out there for like an hour maybe.
It was very short.
But that's the only time I've ever encountered him. And the only previous time we've known about that is they tried to do an actual meet and greet like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even longer. And within like a few days, like it got shut down.
Yeah. Yep.
So don't know if that one will be a part of it, but that one's interesting if it is.
Yes. Very, very much so.
Yeah. So, all right. The next news story that we have is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is switching to 2D. As it's a 3D ride, as it has been since its inception, but it is now switching over to a 2D format.
They're also going to be adding some more props and lighting effects to the ride and the queue. This will be closed November 10th through the 13th and reopening on the 13th with these changes. Now, apparently this was a response to Disneyland Paris and guests over there saying that they like the 2D version better. So, personally, I'm very happy with this. This ride makes me sick.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it not being 3D because 3D is rough on me sometimes.
It depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
I do know that there are other instances at Disney where they have tried to get rid of 3D due to the expense of the 3D glasses. This has been an issue at Flight of Passage, as a lot of times, if you've ridden that lately, and I don't think they've replaced them even since then, but it seems kind of blurry, like not super crystal clear. It's because the plastic and the glasses eventually does wear out, and you have to order new glasses. Apparently, they are not cheap. And they had reserve amount that they went through, and they tried to go to Imagineering, and they wanted to turn Flight of Passage into 2D, and basically Imagineering told them, if you do that, you're going to have people throwing up all over the place.
Oh.
Now, I'm guessing with this one they can.
Really?
I think it's more of a cost thing. I just don't think they want to have the expense of have to replace the 3D glasses.
Very possible. Very possible that that's the reason. I'm just saying, for me personally, as a person that has a trouble with 3D sometimes, and it makes me motion sick, I'm happy with this change. So,
I mean, if it's a change and it is a better experience, that is one thing. I don't have a problem with that. If this is also a change just due to not wanting to spend the money and it's a downgrade, then this really isn't going to look good, especially off of just raising prices yet again. And at least some of my complaints are the fact that as you've raised prices, the perks haven't followed it. So if you're raising prices, which the assumption there is to continue to bring, new attractions and new things to the parks, I don't think it'd be a great look if you got rid of this and it was a worse experience, but we don't know if it is or not at this point.
we'll
But
have to see.
yeah, we'll see.
Right now, it's still 3D. So, if you're going the next couple of weeks, get your ride in before it changes.
I do think we probably have seen the end of most of these like 3D attractions,
Yeah.
like kind of in theme parks in general.
Yeah. It kind of it ebbs and flows. Sometimes
I mean,
it's like
3D is
real
one of the,
popular. Sometimes it's
well, that's the
not.
thing. 3D is one of those things. It's been around since like the 80s, and it always tries to like have a comeback. Like it wasn't that long ago they had the 3D TVs, and it's always to me it's always a gimmick. Like I don't like watching movies in 3D. Mm-hmm. Like first off, I don't like wearing glasses much. It gives me a headache if something heavy sits on my nose, and I just don't think it makes the movie. Like I'm there for the movie, not to try and be like, oh, that thing almost hit me in the face. Like I'm just there to experience the movie. So to me, it's just a gimmick most of the time.
Yeah.
But on some rides, like Spider-Man at Universal Studios does it very well. Remy's was pretty cool with it. So we'll see if it's better or worse after that. But I think we are going to see this all phase out probably, and then probably make a comeback and say 2035, 2040 or something.
See.
You'll see it trying,
We'll see.
because it'll be improved technology and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, all right. And the last news story we have is that finally, during the Festival of the Holidays, Santa Claus will be meeting in Communicore Hall, and he won't be charging you $200 per person to do so.
He's not?
I don't think.
Oh, I hope not.
Unless he's got to, you got to tip him.
But basically, he's meeting at 11, 12:30, 2, 3:30, and 5 through December 24th. So he's only meeting for about 6 hours a day. This is a very popular meet and greet. obviously. He used to meet, I guess in previous years, he was in the America Pavilion.
Where he belongs.
So for Communicore Hall this year, I mean, so have they announced exactly what they're doing there? I don't think they have. They did say that they're just transforming it to something.
I mean, if they
Christmas themed.
don't set it up as like a Santa's workshop, then it's a big swing and a miss.
I mean, they should do that.
Yeah.
They should do that.
They should
for
totally
sure.
they should totally do that.
And then obviously he's only through December 24th, because, he goes back to the North Pole. So then
He's very busy.
Santa Goofy takes his place.
Well, there is Mickey, there's lots of movies and stories about helping Santa.
Listen, he needs help sometimes. He's only one man.
You know what though? My Santa, he doesn't need help though.
My Santa.
My Santa's Kurt Russell, if I'm being honest. Ever since that one, I'm like, that's Santa.
Is that your Santa?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's cool. He's got the big beard, but he's not, he's like, hey, they made me out to be all fat. I'm not fat. And you're like, I appreciate that, Kurt Russell.
Very nice.
Speaking of Epcot, I hope they do this. They haven't said anything yet, but like if they need to do some sort of like food celebration festival in Epcot, especially the America Pavilion, for like all the different types of food. Like if they don't do this for the 250th, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Well, okay, I got you. I was like, that's what these festivals at Epcot are.
No, I'm saying it's all American food.
Okay,
You go to
I
this
see what you're
booth and
saying.
it's like barbecue, and you go here and you got the northern food, you get the southern food. Like I think it'd be interesting to do that.
Well, maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess
I'm
it's
guessing
starting
they're-
in next month.
I'm guessing they're not because they haven't announced it.
Right. I mean, they haven't been specific about everything yet, but you never know.
And I want to see a lot of Sam Eagle.
They will be. I guarantee you, we'll see Sam Eagle all the time. Guarantee it.
One would assume.
Yeah.
Maybe even Nicolas Cage looking for the Declaration of Independence.
Gotcha. Didn't know where you're going with that.
You didn't know where I was going with that?
Of course I did. Of course I did.
Listen, what's better than getting some American food, soaring across America, and then helping Nicolas Cage, rightfully stealing the Declaration of Independence to keep it out of the hands of bad people? That sounds like a great day at the theme parks, if you're asking me.
Great day. Does it? I have to find the Declaration of Independence again? Ugh. I just want to go ride Guardians. Right?
Listen, that is a great day for me.
Okay, Jared. Maybe they'll do it. Yeah, maybe they'll do a scavenger hunt around World Showcase. Find the Declaration.
The fact that they haven't. I'm like, come on. And I've been saying for a long time, in the movie side, they need to make a whole bunch of very similar concept movies. Instead of making all these super expensive movies, make a whole bunch of National Treasure type movies.
Yes, I know.
They're not going to make $1 billion.
You're a huge fan of National Treasure.
No, I'm saying, but
yeah.
also that concept of movie, just like a simple story that's fun, involving history, and people like finding treasure.
Oh, yes.
Why do you think the
always.
Pirates of the Caribbean is so popular?
Exactly.
Treasure
Treasure.
and pirates, but
Yes.
mostly Johnny Depp. But okay.
Johnny Depp.
All right, well, that's it for the news. Mm-hmm. That's all we have there. But we do have our discussion segment, which I'm very curious at your thoughts on this. And let us also know your thoughts in the comments. I was talking to Jamie there.
Oh, that
but
was me. Okay.
Also your comments in the comment section, those listening or watching, what you think about this. But I've seen a lot more lately, a lot of complaints about, I guess you call it social media, but I think it is more, and we'll talk about it, I think it's more narrowed into a certain genre specifically that at least I've noticed. But is social media ruining the theme park experience? And obviously for this show, is it ruining, the Disney theme park experience? So this would include like influencers, streamers, resellers, vloggers, things like that. Mm-hmm. So what is your opinion? Do you think it is ruining it? Do you think it is... I would say it's changed it for sure.
Yes, it's definitely changed it. So I guess my view on how social media influences how people vacation to Disney has changed a lot. Like it's influenced it quite a bit. We have access to information in real time as things change in the parks. That wasn't always there. I remember these guidebooks, these unofficial guide to Disney World or Disneyland. Remember those? Those were so popular in the 90s specifically, is what I'm thinking. And by the time they were published and distributed, they were almost always outdated.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess the benefits of social media now is that we literally have real-time updates to information that's going on in the parks, like currently, like right now. So it makes us feel like we have all the information we need now to make the best decisions for our trips coming up or whatever it is. Now, how social media can ruin your Disney experience, or not necessarily ruin, but just maybe negatively influence your experience in the parks. I think the biggest one is streamers.
Undoubtedly.
Live streamers.
Undoubtedly. That is the main complaint I have seen, and that is really the main complaint I have had.
Yes.
Are just these and if you're unaware what streamers are, these are people who basically they have usually big rigs set up that have like they've got 2 or 3 phones going, they have a battery pack, and they walk around the parks and usually interact with their chat and just showing aspects of it.
Yeah, so they have the whole big setup. Like it's it can be intrusive. That's the best way to put it. It can be intrusive.
Well, yes. And I think obviously there are some that are very respectful.
Absolutely.
But as anything goes in life, all it takes is a few to really ruin it for everybody else. I have also seen some that are very aggressive, that are obviously this becomes, and this is a touchy subject. I'm not going to say it's touchy. Obviously, we do social media. We have a YouTube channel. We do these things. And we used to do vlogging as well. And one thing I will say about vlogging is like it was something that we quit doing it because it just became less enjoyable. And it was it's a lot of work. I do have respect for people that build up channels and all that content, but it very much becomes less about just being like, hey, let's go to Epcot to check out the latest thing here. It becomes, I'm going to eat everything in sight or do some challenge. And there's really nothing inherently wrong with it, but you start the one-upping and wanting to get attention. I think that's where the streamers come in, because it's like you have multiple streamers to choose from, so it becomes much more about antics sometimes. And my issue with it is, like, I don't care if that's what you want to do, but when you start intruding on the guest experience, which many times it does, people in line, people not wanting to be on camera necessarily.
That I understand. However, you can't help that at Disney. You're going to be on camera.
You are. But I get to is like, it also gets if you like kids.
Yeah.
Like people filming kids.
The kid thing, yeah.
And I do know people that stream stuff that are very cognizant of that and will not show children and things like that. So, there's ways to do it that aren't intrusive, where you're just experiencing things and like having a small setup. I think people do get annoyed about some of them with the huge setups to do it.
I guess my biggest thing is the volume. So, like, for example, we were going on Haunted Mansion. I don't even know when this was. Maybe a year ago, maybe more. And there was a streamer that came in the stretching room with us, talking the whole time.
Yeah, because they have to be talking.
Spiel.
Yeah, they narrate everything that they're doing.
They were talking the whole time. They were trying to be a little quiet, but nobody else was talking in the room except for the whatever his name is, Gacy or whatever his name is. But he was talking to people that were like commenting. And it was very distracting. And he kept doing it the entire ride because we could hear him like on the ride talking. And I'm like, I understand that there's people out there that will watch the streamers, that like to watch streamers, that feel like they're in the parks with you and all that stuff. I understand that. However, it does not trump the people that bought the ticket wanting to experience the actual park and their experience. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't like that aspect where you're trying to give people that are not at the parks the park experience, but like, well, you're not here, so let's try to be respectful of people that are here. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
for sure.
I don't know.
And again, I think most are pretty respectful, but again, I have seen some where if you're talking through a pre-show and you're really being a distraction to everybody else just for your content, that is where it starts becoming an issue. And I think obviously there is money to be made doing this, or people would not be doing it.
Right.
And I don't have any problem with people like, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's whatever. Like if you can do that. But I think what's going to end up happening is I really do think in the next maybe even 5 years, maybe even sooner, there will be some change in the rules to try and limit some of this, and I think a lot of it will be aimed at streamers. Because obviously Disney and Universal use vloggers and influencers to help promote their stuff. And most people like social media, Instagram, like they're taking pictures, like most of them are not intrusive on other people. I think the one that I've heard the most complaints about that I have seen, some of the vloggers, but mostly being streamers, as it's just like in the moment, trying to get the content, talking, because it's like you don't want to have dead air. So they're always talking or reading the chat or something like that. I could see a scenario where there is some sort of rule implemented to try and limit that. But at the same time, you would have to find something very, like you couldn't outright say you can't stream, because then what are you going to tell all the guests they can't have their phones? Because people do it from their phones.
Right, exactly.
And then if you do make a change to something, there's going to be some sort of loophole they find. So it's almost like a cat and mouse game with this. And I don't really know how they will go about it. But I do think if it continues to become an issue, it will be addressed on some level.
Here's an example of that. There's a guy, I don't know if he does it anymore, or if he does it coyly or whatever, but I think it's in Disneyland. He's a TikToker, and he interviews guests.
I have seen that. I don't like that. You're on vacation.
And that's more of an influencer. That's not really a streamer, but like it's on social media still. And Disney has asked him to stop. Like people have complained about him and said, hey, this guy's trying to interview us in the parks. And he was asked to stop. Like, I know that for sure.
Well, there was one, Jack Doherty, who is just anyways, he's interesting. He's just basically a nuisance. And he's a streamer that just goes around doing a bunch of stuff and antics. Like he usually he usually has a big bodyguard with him.
Really?
And so he's very aggressive with people. And then his bodyguard will step in so he doesn't end up getting, consequences for your actions. But he was at Disney World doing this with a microphone, interviewing guests, and Disney told him to leave, and he was making a big scene about it and things like that. And it's like, if you want, it's one thing to walk around filming stuff. People do that all the time, but it's like when you're on vacation, and they were going up and asking people like political questions, or it just think you're just there with your family trying to enjoy yourself. The last thing you want to worry about, it's like going, and I love Costco, but I hate going in there with the vendors. It's like, no, I don't need my key. I don't need an extra key. I don't need one. And I don't want to change. It's like, I don't like dealing with that stuff, especially when you're on vacation. You don't have to worry about someone coming up and asking you a question and potentially going viral in that way. So while you can't avoid people like being in the background of a stream necessarily, it's a whole other thing to all of a sudden they walk up to you and it's like, hey, let me ask you this question, trying to be provocative. And I think I think obviously Disney has, they kick those people out when they do it.
Yeah.
I just don't know the ways in which they will do it unless they simply just basically say you can't stream. But then how do you know if someone's streaming or recording? And most of these people have their own internet. I mean, you can get Starlink, so you can have your own internet. So they technically cut off the Wi-Fi in the park. They could, but then you could have your own internet source or just use your own network. Yeah. And so, I think I do think there will be something to try and quell that on some level.
Well, I think the worst offenders would be the live streamers because it's constant. It's never ending.
They're in the parks for like hours.
Like, I know one particular live streamer who live streams Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
At Universal or Disney. Goes back and forth every day. Now, the vloggers, I mean, it depends on the vlogger you're talking about, but some are way more respectful. Sometimes they're even as popular as people come up to them, and say like, "Hey."
Right.
Obviously.
Well, Disney even featured, one of them in an ad campaign.
Right.
So obviously, there's not really an issue with them, I would say.
Right. Even influencers, like, I don't think there's inherently a problem with influencers as much as it is everybody wants to be an influencer.
Well, that's
when you have so many people trying to be an influencer, I think that is the issue.
Yeah.
Where everybody is, I will say, dressing up in certain clothes, like just whatever, trying to promote themselves or a brand or something. And if they're all doing that, then it's like, just becomes like, is this a business deal? Are we at a business park? Like, what do we, what's going on? Like, what I mean? Like, there's so many people taking pictures in one spot and you're like, we're just a family trying to get a picture of us together on vacation. Can you guys move? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Well, I think that's also more of a societal thing about wanting to be an influencer, which I have no desire to be deemed that. It's not something I'm interested in. But yeah, and like, don't get me wrong. If you're a vlogger or you're a streamer, you're trying to do that. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with doing those. My whole point is, like, if I was a streamer, I would be trying to basically police like the ones that are being a nuisance, because they are going to be the ones that end up potentially like, harming your ability to do these things. My whole thing is just the ones that act out. What is the way in which that can be quoted? Because I do think on some level, like as that becomes more prevalent, like everything at scale is all about scale, really. So it's like a few people walk around a theme park doing this, not a big deal. But let's say you just have double or triple the amount of people doing it. That becomes much more of a nuisance, because everywhere you turn, you're just like, oh gosh, another one. Oh geez. And you're just trying to have fun on a vacation. So you have this mix of people that are just there to enjoy their time, go to the parks, enjoy time with their family. And then you have this other end of people that are there as it's, I'm not saying they don't enjoy the parks, but it becomes a business. So you have a mix of people with different interests. And that can easily become confrontational in many ways, as people don't want to deal with that. And so it's while I'm sure Disney and Universal both, like, it's free advertising for them, essentially. Like, people are, hyping up the stuff in their parks, but at the same time, you don't want that to overrun to where it's negatively affecting the guest experience. So it's a balancing act there. And I'm not saying I have the answers to it. I've just seen this has become a much more prevalent conversation out there.
Well, and then you run into the fact that, like, you have, I'll say mostly vloggers and influencers. You have a problem of integrity, honesty, where you have a lot that will outright lie about what they're trying, what they're doing, just to promote Disney.
Well, there's that too.
That also does affect you, because if you have particular people that you watch saying, wow, this event was great, you have to come and do it, and then you go and you do it and you're like, wow, this is terrible. Like, they obviously were not being honest with us.
Yeah.
You have that also. Like, is Disney paying you as a creator or as,
it's usually just
or whatever, then that's also an issue.
Right.
At least it is, in my opinion.
Well, that usually gets into like the perks, not necessarily directly paying. I mean, this is why we've had these conversations. I'm under no illusion, nor is it a goal of mine, that we will ever be invited to media passes for like Disney or Universal. And if we were, we've actually had a conversation where I'm like, at this point, I lean toward, I would just be like, thank you, but no thank you. Because I do think once your opinion, how people view your opinion does change once it's deemed that you're part of that group. Because then it's like, well, if you say something negative or you have a critique, obviously there's an inherent, like, I wouldn't say there's any quid pro quo. It's like, hey, you better say something positive. I don't think that actually happens, but I think it's the allure of like, if I do say something negative, then I'm going to lose this media pass. And a lot of people hold that as like a goal to have. I'm wired weird. Like, I just don't care about that. And I've always talked about this on this show and like everything that we do, like, the whole purpose is just to be honest. And people can disagree with, like, half the time you and I don't agree on stuff. People can agree with me or disagree with me, same thing with you. But at the very least, like, I'm just being honest in how I feel.
Yeah.
So if I try something and it's bad, I'll just be like, I didn't like this. Doesn't mean you may you may enjoy it, and vice versa. But at the very least, I would much rather the audience be like, well, at least I know that Jared and Jamie aren't lying to me. They don't have any like motivation to do so. I'm not getting a kickback from a restaurant to give a good review, sort of thing. And that's where I kind of stand with, like, I would much rather operate from like the outside. I'm much more comfortable there anyways. So I would much rather just be like, I'm not invited to the stuff. And if I was, I'd probably, decline it, or I'd get invited once and probably never again. But I do think it can change how people view you. And then, once you get into that realm where it's like, are you being honest? And then obviously I think I think some of the people that have a negative view of influencers, some of it is going to be jealousy.
I guess, yeah.
And probably vloggers. Like, there's people that want that sort of thing, so there's jealousy there. But at the very least, I just think, like, being honest, And if you're and listen, some people are very easy to please. Some people are more critical. Just comes down to your taste and things like that. But
I just also, it's like influencers are social media, like, salesmen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're just trying to constantly sell you on something. And like, if you want to follow that, that's great. If there's people that you love and you like to see what they do in the parks, awesome. Good for you. I'm just saying, like, if you think of it in that way, they're trying to upsell you like an MLM sometimes,
right?
Or just sell you a product that they're promoting. They become like a brand partner with, or have an affiliate link, or get some kind of commission. Then it's just, you're there to help them make money. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Again, it's just like, I don't know, like when money is on the line, when money is to be made, or exposure, or I don't know, fame, maybe like being more well known. I feel like people aren't as forthcoming with how they actually feel.
Many times. I mean,
maybe not everybody.
Well, and that just comes into like, are you, just being honest about different things that you do.
Yep.
Now, I would say another one that has gotten, maybe even more than streamers, is a group of people that people get really mad at are the resellers. And I think this has become a much bigger problem that I do actually think is pretty easily solvable, but it doesn't seem that at least Disney like wants to do that. And that is just the resellers.
And so, if you're not familiar with how that works, which you probably are out there, but like basically people will buy something in the parks or something Disney and they resell it either like on eBay or
while they're
Facebook
live
Marketplace
in stores.
And that's also an issue. The biggest issue I've seen lately is with the outlets.
Yes.
How many people were in line very beginning when the store opens, just lined with like shopping carts and strollers and wagons.
Totes.
They're just going to throw everything in there and resell it. That's great. Disney's like, whatever. We want to get rid of this anyway. But it's just like I guess the community of that has gotten much bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, there's nothing left for everybody else.
Well, and that's the thing. I think the issue with it is like, if it goes to the outlets, especially the idea of like, as things have gotten more expensive. And it's like, I'll just go to the outlets and maybe they'll have, you can get a pair of ears that you want for, maybe it's $8, or you go get a coffee mug. You can find some discounts there. So if you but then when you have it all full of just people reselling live, first off, people don't want to go dealing with that because the store's jam packed with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess, I get it from Disney's perspective or any store's perspective. Like if the stuff's selling, how much do you really care? But at the same time too, it's like, the outlets, I would assume like lower price things are something like your fan base would enjoy. And again, this is just one of those things like at scale again. A couple people doing this is not a problem, but when everybody starts doing this, it becomes a problem. And I think that is the thing that is becoming an issue with a lot of different things. It's just as this stuff, like more people start doing it, then it becomes an issue. And typically we see this even online and stuff of like, eventually enough people start doing something, and even Disney's rule changes that they do many times in the parks, there's always going to be some sort of little rule you could take advantage of. Yeah. But the minute it gets promoted and out there, then all of a sudden there's a rule change to try and quell that. And I think this is one of those areas too where you could really just simply say you can only buy like 2 of an item.
So, right. They do that sometimes.
Sometimes.
However, a lot of times it's 2 per item based on the it's a UPC code.
Right.
And UPC codes are different for like different sizes, like clothes.
Right.
So you could get 2 of each size.
Right.
And be totally fine.
But I think
again,
also too,
it's just.
But the one in the outlets, you have people, they haven't purchased it yet. They have put it into their like stuff that piled up here, and they're live streaming it. People are claiming it, and so like you have people grabbing merchandise that they're not intending to buy for themselves. They're just hoarding it in the moment in case someone on a live stream says, I would like that. And then they put it into their stuff. So like, that's just one of those gray areas too, where you're just like, it's one of those things where you just like, it kind of has this like, ugh, like it just is like it's not great. Like,
it's not great, but again, they're not breaking any rules.
Well, I think there have been a couple of changes. I saw recently where somebody was saying somebody at Disney actually approached them and said that they could not do that. So I don't know if they have made an overall change there, but you're right. Like if there's not an inherent rule being broken, that is one thing. But at the same time, it's like if you see that going on, and you're just there with your
guest experience.
Yeah, you're there with your kids, and you're just like, oh, my daughter really would have liked this, but
you bought all 17 of them.
Susie Streamer has all 20 of them in her tote bag.
Right.
That she's live streaming, trying to get. She's paying maybe there were $5, and she's going to resell it on her thing for 25. And listen, I'm capitalism is great. Like sell your stuff, make money, but at the same time, it's like there's a balance to everything.
Right.
And I think that's where people are just like, I can't even get a discount on this stuff because the people here are essentially wiping out the discount.
And without social media, they wouldn't be able to do this in real time as part of our point. You know what I mean? Like this is not like live streaming at the outlets When did that start? Like, it hasn't been that long.
I feel like it really got, because we've done a couple of vlogs, but it was like we would go in there to show, like, here's the things you can get. We weren't reselling stuff necessarily. Like, it was just, and we bought a couple things for ourselves. But I think it kind of started, if I remember correctly, I think Tim Tracker started going to the outlets a little bit to show deals you could get.
No, I mean live streaming.
That's what I'm saying. But I think it evolved from there into like, I think that's when the outlets got a lot more people's radar. Which is another thing influencers do. They bring up an aspect of like the kingdom or keys to the kingdom tour. Social media and stuff like that have definitely promoted that over the years.
Right.
So like obviously Disney likes that. That's a benefit to them of like, yeah, you have salespeople essentially online selling aspects of your park experience that you sell more of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it probably evolved on the outlet side from that, and then it turned into like, oh, there's people are probably messaging, be like, hey, next time you go, let me know if you find someone, I'll pay you for it.
Right.
And then it turns into like, all it takes is a couple of people to do it. It's pretty successful. And then somebody else does it. And then really, if you think about it and how small those stores are, all it takes is like 10 to 20 people doing this at a time.
Yep.
That really starts impacting the experience. So it's not even really like that many people doing it. It's just a few people.
Yeah. And again, just to say, we don't, like, if they want to do this, if they want to stream what's available and buy it for other people, like they're allowed to do that. It's just, if you're a guest coming in and wanting to get certain items or just shop, being around a bunch of people live streaming isn't the best way to spend your vacation. In fact, is it Tokyo or is it Hong Kong? One of the Disney parks overseas in Asia, they don't allow live streamers.
I think it was Japan.
Is it Japan?
I think.
They have like completely, like, you can't do it.
Well, and you get into like, what was the ultimate purpose of the theme parks? Like Walt's vision was a place for families to go to enjoy themselves, to create, that's the ultimate thing. And obviously that's evolved, and there's things that have offshoots off of things that you can't ever envision at the time. But it's like once things really start impeding on that, and there's already been issues about the Disney guest experience in terms of, we've talked about parks have been taken away and the park's experience is different.
Right.
And then you throw these things on top of it, and it may not be directly within Disney's control because other people are doing it. But I could totally see, like, I'm like some of like the resellers, like I could totally see a scenario where our daughter has, she's got the money she saves up and she's like, I want to go get so-and-so. And you take your kid on vacation in there and you can't even go find stuff because all the live streamers have it. And while there's no rules being broken, like that would make me mad. I'd be like, oh, my young daughter who just wants a toy or wants something can't even get it because these people are hogging it up. And I think that's where I could see something happening there, but I just don't know how. Like it just comes into like, Disney's obviously selling stuff,
right?
So it's like, where's their motivation? Where's the middle ground there? Things like that. And like I said, I don't know the actual solutions to this. It's just probably more or less like it's a very modern problem, I guess you could say.
Definitely very modern. Yeah, but
I think the whole thing of saying that, I do think in many aspects social media has helped the guest experience because you have more information.
Sure. How
to plan your trip. You find somebody you like to follow, whether like us or other people that you're like, I like their takes on things. I like their advice. You see people trying food items and things like that. But then you have the other side of it where it can become like when you're in the park and, I've been around a group where they're vlogging and you're just like, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just like, I don't want to be like, I'll just pull off to the side and let them pass. I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, I just don't want to be around it. And I think if you have a lot of that going on, you have a lot of guests that are just annoyed. And I think that's in many ways, it's like, I can see how it has hampered it in specific situations, made the park experience like at least not better.
Well, and this group of people that we're talking about, all of these, there are some in there, and I'm not going to say all of them, but there are a lot that develop entitlement. Like, this is my park. I do this all the time. Guest over here, you need to get out of my way. Kind of thinking. I've seen this happen.
Well, there's even ones I've talked to cast members and team members that like they treat them very badly. Like they're very rude to the workers and because of that entitlement and things like that.
Yep. There's particular people that are like, oh, so-and-so is coming over here. Great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have a reputation, and it's kind of becomes an entitlement, and like this park belongs to me, and I come here all the time, and I know all this and that kind of stuff. I'm like,
Right.
come on, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's honestly why I like doing what we do. We talk. We're just in a spare bedroom, just talking about things that we enjoy or things that critiquing or whatever. It's not something that I look at it from the outside looking in of like, I do not want to do that. I don't want to have to do that constantly, like in the parks or having to be. I just feel like it's a very stressful way to live your life. But I mean, and like we said, we're just talking about it because there's just been. I've seen a ton of comments on this, and anytime a video comes out about this, that you'll see. There was a video recently a girl did where it was basically on this premise, and I think it has almost like 1 million views, and all the comments are just like different examples of so and so, like very being very rude to other guests and causing yelling even and stuff like that.
I hate it,
and it's just like. Ideally, if you could just have people just behave themselves, and like I said, probably 99% of the people that are doing this stuff are fine. It's just that small percentage that make problems for everybody else that eventually do cause a rule change or something that then ultimately will affect the guests, because let's say they do put a ban on like filming, and there are people that just film their vacation. Like that would impact the guest experience in terms of you getting photos and memories and things like that.
Definitely could.
But it's like at the same time, if it's getting so out of hand, you kind of have to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I won't be surprised if there is some change in the next 2 to 5 years or sooner that try and quell some of this stuff, but we will see. But
yeah.
You got any closing thoughts on it, or?
We are not vloggers, influencers, streamers, or resellers, so.
No. Well, and like I talked about, we used to do vlogging.
We did.
And it was one of those things, like once we had our second child, we're like, there is no way. It's already difficult enough to do vlogging with one child. And then there's a lot of work that goes into it. But what I found, I remember specifically, we had just moved to Florida. We went to the Villains After Hours. And I left the camera in the car.
Yep.
And we were on the monorail, and I was like, oh, I left it in the car. And the whole thing was like, we're going to get footage and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? We'll just use our phones, whatever. And then we got there, and we just were like really enjoying it. And I remember being in there, and I was like, this is the first time I remember where we're just enjoying the parks and like experiencing it and not feeling that pressure of like, oh, I got to get this shot. Oh, I got to let everybody know what's going on. Like you always feel like you got to get the next thing. And like midway through the night, I was like, I don't think we should vlog anymore, because it just like it was just kind of ruining the experience for us of viewing everything through a lens. And I've gotten much more where I like to go do things without my phone.
Yeah.
Like just experience stuff. And so for us, that's where we kind of in like, it is a grind. I respect people that do it. But for us personally, I was like, I would much rather do the podcast, talk about, do stuff like this, and not just constantly have to be on your phone in the parks.
Yeah.
And I think it's a better way to experience stuff like that and actually like create memories and stuff like that. But
exactly.
That's just us, though. But
yes.
I don't know if we solved anything here. I don't know.
Just a good discussion.
I'm very curious. Everybody in the comments or listening on the what's in the Facebook group or whatever, what your guys' thoughts are on that, because I don't really know where everybody else stands on this, but it's just kind of something that was on our mind. There is a weird hair on my microphone. I'm trying to grab. All right, I got it off there.
Was it bothering you?
I just kept seeing it. Like I kept thinking I was like there was like a. Those flurries that get in your eye, in the corner of your eyes. I'm like, am I going blind?
No.
And I was like, oh, there's a thing I couldn't get off my mic. Anyway, all right, well, I think that's going to do it for the show.
Okay.
Be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere. We were just talking about social media. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere, including YouTube, where I do daily videos. I've been doing lots of construction updates. I did one yesterday on Disney World's latest construction update in terms of everything going on there. So if you're curious how the demolition of Tom Sawyer Island is going, that either will excite you or depress you. But all those buildings are gone.
Yeah.
Aunt Polly's is no more. And the cave is gone too now. You can check that out on the YouTube channel, as well as just talking about theme parks, entertainment, pop culture, things like that. And, of course, we have video versions of this show at CTM Podcast on YouTube. And be sure to check out other shows on the network. We have CTM Universal Show, where we talk about Universal Studios. And on the next one, we will be talking about the Kids Resort that was announced all the lands there that are coming to Frisco, Texas, and the latest news involving Universal Studios. And then Jamie has Trip Tales, which is her trip report show, and just had an episode come out on Monday.
Yes. And if you want to be a guest on a future Trip Tales episode, you go to ctmtriptales.com, fill out the information. I have one more spot left for December. So if you got a trip coming up in November, December, that would cover it. And then obviously into January in 2026. So drop me some information about your trip and I'll see if I'm interested and I'll contact you.
There you go. Well, and also if you want additional content, you want to contribute to the show, you like what we do around here, be sure to check out Club 32. And that's our private group where we have some additional content. We have the clubhouse. We have a weekly live stream. We have a private podcast feed where we also have commercial-free versions of each episode in there also for Club 32 members, as we now have more ads running on the show. So that if you're a member there, that is a perk there. Plus, you get 25% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products. We have meetups. We have one coming up in January, which is a great time to go. Weather is fantastic.
During Festival of the Arts, in fact.
That's very true. We have that. And the Facebook group there is a good resource to, ask questions about a trip coming up, opinions. It's a good way to just meet other people, as well. Mingle. We get to interact a bit more in there also. And all that stuff. So if you want to go join there, you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options. If you do the yearly, you get a little bit cheaper overall, and you also get a free t-shirt. So you kind of come out a win-win there, but it does help us continue to support the show, pay the lighting bill that I'm looking at here, the internet bill, all those things help keep us do what we do here. So if you're interested there, you can go to ctmvip.com, and if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you. So all right, well that's going to do it for the show. So thank you everybody for listening and/or watching, and thank you Jamie for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
we will see you in the parks.
Bye.